Leeds United are set to face off with Plymouth Argyle. Wait, Plymouth? Again? Okay. Leeds United are set to play against Plymouth Argyle yet again for the fourth time this season in the EFL Championship tomorrow, and there's quite a lot to talk about in terms of this. It's a big game, and let's preview it properly. Give it the respect it deserves, and we need to start off with the team news. First up, we have to discuss Sam Byram, who is still out. Had a little bit of a hamstring niggle recently, and it doesn't seem to have fixed itself, which means that he's not going to be available for this match. But that's not the one that people were asking about. People were a little bit more bothered about the state of Patrick Bamford. Bamford had been a fundamental part of this squad since the start of the new year, and he's now injured. Had a little bit of a calf problem in the warm-up in the match of Swansea, and it looks like they're both going to potentially be missing until Leicester City, maybe beyond. It's the sort of thing where you don't want to rush someone back. Muscular injuries are things that get worse when you say, okay, now play again. You don't want to sort of stress and strain, because then that's how you end up with the issues that Bamford had in the past, where he would rush back from injury, cause himself more problems, and then people would start calling him biscuit bones, but it's not hugely his fault. Just manager after manager after manager has said, no, you can come back and play now. And that's caused problems. Aside from those, Pascal Struijk and Stuart Dallas are still unavailable with their long-term injuries. This, I don't think, has surprised anybody. And everyone else is available, which is very nice, including new father Jamie Shackleton, so congrats to him on that one. That means that my predicted lineup is sort of predictable on this one. Starting net with Illan Meslier, because he's definitely been improving his distribution, and there's not really grounds to replace him at the moment. Archie Gray, Joe Rodon, Ethan Ampadu and Junior Firpo as the backline has been working consistently, and there's no real reason to replace any of them. In front, Glenn Kamara, who has some of the best passing in the Championship at the moment. Hello, Iris. I'm going to try and keep doing this without being distracted by the cat. Has some of the best passing in the Championship at the moment. It's accurate, it's progressive, all very nice, with Ilya Gruev next to him, who is able to just break up opponent attacks time after time after time. In front of those, Crescencio Somerville obviously needs to start, Jorginho Rutter, and there was a little bit of a question over whether you start Willy Gnonto because Dan James is coming back into the fold. I think the fact that Gnonto scored twice in the week means that he's going to be really hard to replace. Willy Gnonto definitely deserves that spot, in my opinion. Now, up top, I've gone with likely Joel Piroe. Iris. Whilst you have some options, you could go Mateo Joseph, you could be a real maverick and try Dan James up top. I think Piroe is the perfect guy for this match, just because he's a little bit more clinical, and we know that Plymouth play in a way that is quite difficult to play against. Now, something a little bit different right now. I've got an interesting little statsy breakdown for you, because where I work occasionally gets some nice stats in, so I figured I'd use some of them here. Daniel Farke, in his last 17 Championship matches against sides that were promoted in the season before, hasn't lost. He's won 13 of them, drawn 4, and the last time he lost to a newly promoted side was in January 2018 against Sheffield United, who were newly promoted. They were far too good for League One, got promoted, and did pretty well in the Championship over the next couple of years. In addition to that, Leeds United have won our last 5 away games in all competitions, with 15 goals for, only 1 against, which is fantastic for our defensive structure, brilliant for the confidence, and if we do one more, we will have caught up with Marcelo Bielsa's run from May to September 2019. And whilst there have been 10 goals scored in all competitions between Leeds United and Plymouth, every single one has been scored by someone different, which is a bizarre little fun fact. The players include for Plymouth, Wayne, Randall and Galloway, and for Leeds, Dan James, Joel Piroe, Jayden Anthony, Willy Gnonto, Crescencio Somerville, Jorginho Rutter, and a hardy own goal. Even the own goal was scored by someone different, which I found really fascinating. In addition to that, we have better goals for, better goals against, and better points than any of our previous 10 Championship seasons at this point, 32 games in. So, for context, I'm going to pull up the specific table here just to make sure I've got it completely right. We're 5 points clear of the 2018-19 season, where we came third and dropped off towards the end of it. Compared to Bielsa's promotion season, we are 10 points clear. And in terms of goal difference, we are nearly double both of them. It's going quite well, I think. Now, in terms of what we can expect from Plymouth, we've played them a lot, so this is a fairly easy section to research for me. They consistently play in a 3-4-3 structure. That 4 varies a little bit, whether it's wing-backs, whether it's midfielders. The attack also changes a little bit. Sometimes it's very narrow to sort of target and penetrate the centre-backs. Sometimes it's very wide to try and get around some attacking full-backs. That's what we witnessed when Whittaker tore us apart last time when Shackleton got pulled out of position. That's something that I think we'll need to keep an eye out for. And they also play very deep. They let clubs play in front of them. That is something else that we've witnessed in our 3 matches against them so far this season. Also, as we've learned, they are genuinely very good on the counter-attack. If you let Plymouth get a counter-attack against you, they can cause you some very serious problems. And that's something that we'll be very aware of. Ilya Gruev will be a significant part of stopping that because he breaks up their movements in midfield. In addition to that, Gray and Firpo are a little bit more solid at the back than Shackleton, so I think we'll be okay. In addition to that, and this was a very weird fun fact that I didn't quite see coming, no one's kept a clean sheet against this side since the 13th of December. They score very consistently and are very, very hard to defend against. And I would quite like us to break that streak, to be honest with you. Plymouth do have weaknesses, though, and they are weaknesses that we can definitely get at. We know they concede a hell of a lot of chances. We've witnessed this ourselves. We've created our opportunities against them. They have the second most shots against them in the Championship, only beaten by Rotherham, and we know that Rotherham are very, very easy to shoot against. In addition to that, we have the most shots in the Championship, which, fantastic for us. We know that we can create chances. We know they're weak against clubs that are creating those chances, and we need to remember that in the FA Cup we played rotated sides. Our full-strength team should be completely fine against Plymouth, in my opinion. Aside from that, they've not got ideal passing creativity. They are 18th place in metres gained by progressive passing. This means that a lot of the time they will look to dribble, and we will need our strong tacklers in there. Looking at Ilya Gruev and his ability to slide tackle anybody, Archie Gray has the most tackles of anyone on the side, so that's likely to come up as well. Firpo could be a slight risk at this point, but you've got Ampadu and Rodon that are covering for him as well. All will be well. In addition to that, they are poor at defending against skilled players. We saw that when Somerville came on in the Plymouth match in the FA Cup. We saw that when Rutter came on. They just started causing immediate problems for them, and in addition to that, they are massively going to lose control of the midfield because they don't have Darko JB available. Darko JB, who has been playing consistent football for Plymouth, and he's been okay for them. But he's not going to be available because we are the ones loaning him. In addition to that, Adam Forshaw is a big doubt. He's very injured all the time. I know, I was equally surprised. But I think that's going to make things a lot easier because they are missing their first team midfield. In terms of what Leeds United need to do, quite a few things. So I'm going to dive into those. First up, we need to create as much space in the middle of the park as possible. I am staring at Joel Piroux at the moment. He needs to be pulling those centre-backs apart and sort of dragging them across the pitch and making space for Rutter to create his plays. That, in turn, means we get plenty of chances made for the likes of Crescencio Somerville, Willie Gnonto, Dan James if he comes on. I think we could bring him on in the last half an hour and he will devastate them, because in terms of fitness, we've got the beating of them. In addition to that, I think Somerville, Rutter and Gnonto will rotate quite a lot. We know Gnonto likes to float, we know Rutter likes to float. Somerville can often be found in the middle of the pitch. They are going to fly about the pitch and make sure that anyone that's trying to mark one of them is going to have a bad day, as long as we stay structured at the back. Plymouth create lots of chances. Well, they don't create lots, but they create high-quality chances, and that's a problem for us. If we're able to shut them out completely, we can focus on the other end of the pitch and make sure that if we're finishing as effectively as we did against Swansea, it'll be a nice, comfortable win. My predictions for this match is we will see a lot of the ball. They are not going to compete with us for possession. That's not what they do, that's not what they want to do, and we'll see plenty of chances. I think we will pull apart their backline time and time and time again, and we just need to make sure that their goalkeeper doesn't have any absolute worldies in him. I do think Joel Piroux could potentially struggle because he's going to have to play very high up the pitch, and that could cause problems because we know he likes to arrive late, but if he's been learning from Bamford, that should be all good. I do think Plymouth will score a goal. I've noticed that Morgan Whittaker hasn't scored against us yet this season, so that just adds up. In terms of players that haven't scored for us yet against Plymouth, just to keep that every single goal has had a different scorer, every one of our front four has had one, so I will go with Kamara scores, Gray scores, and why not Junior Firpo for a Leeds United 3-1 win. But let me know what you think down in the comments below. If you've enjoyed the video at any point, drop a like, that's massively appreciated. And subscribe. I will see you later.